Thank you for tuning into the Sisters Talk podcast. This is your host, Danny M, and we have special guests today. Introduce yourself to the audience
I am Dick Dillinger.
and tell them from what show you come from.
I'm this Dick Dillinger for Ear to the Streets podcast.
Awesome. All right, so today we have some really tough topics we wanted to discuss with the audience. We want to talk about the FICO scores. We want to talk about the soldiers that have been found dead in Fort Hood, right here in Texas. We also want to cover briefly over the $1 billion vaccine that China is offering Latin America and the Caribbeans. So it's a lot going on in the world, and we just want to touch on a few of these things. I chose to talk about the FICO score because it's so essential that when we get back to a normal state of economy, and well-being, we'll be able to get back out here and flex on everybody because we'll know that we have our credit score in order and in check.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, you can go to myfico.com, that's myfico.com, and get the same information that I'm about to cover with you right now. So you want to know how they determine your FICO scores, right? So 35% of that is determined based on your payment history. So make sure that you're paying your bills. The other 30% is how much do you owe the debt collection agencies or the companies or the loaners or whatever, situation you are in with your debt. The other 15% is checked based on the length of your credit history. So if you're a young adult and you don't have any credit established, number one goal is to go ahead and get out there and get that going. Get you like a Target credit card or a Shell gas station card or something that you're not going to be able to like destroy your credit with.
Or abuse. Yeah. We can abuse the credit card.
I'm telling you, give it a brutal beating. There's some people out here messing with their credit right now because they're taking out all these business loans.
And that's a big problem right there. Taking the bit, but you know what? These loans and stuff. I don't think people look at the percentages and stuff. What they need to pay back with these loans and the interest rates and stuff. I think people need to start really focus on these interest rates and really pay attention to what's or be knowledgeable or have somebody to guide you who's really knowledgeable about the credit and give you information that could be vital to you and vital to somebody else. You never know.
Facts. Shout out to Annie Thimbo. She is a senior wealth strategist. Make sure you reach out to people like her. You can find her on Facebook. Also, there's a lot of credit specialists out there they're in their positions and they're designed to help you increase your credit score. And, a lot of times they go in and they just clear up a lot of credit disputes, whether it's something that you overpaid, meaning you constantly paid the account off and the company hasn't even reported that you paid the account off. So that's one thing that could be hurting you and you don't even know it. Also, other collections that have been just sitting in existence for over 7 years typically fall off your credit score or it falls off your credit history, your payment history or what's owed. And sometimes that doesn't happen. So you just got to make sure that you're getting in there yourself or you're getting somebody that is knowledgeable about this information that's going to correct it for you so that your credit score reflects your greatness, So the other 10% of that chart of the FICO score is your new credit obtained. So if you have a new credit card, how often are you getting new credit cards? I'm not saying go out there and get crazy, but just remember that you need to have new credit established every so often. And then also your other 10% remaining is the credit mixture. So where are you getting your credit in? Are you getting a home? Are you getting a car? Are you getting new furniture? Are you just got a car just to get gas or to pay for food at restaurants? I don't know. Just make sure that you have a nice little mix. So retail accounts, installment loans, finance companies, things like that, mortgage loans. Just remember though that before you go out there saying, "Oh, I got $20,000 in my account, I'm about to go buy a house," remember that they're looking at your scores to determine your interest rate. Like Dillinger said, you got to pay attention to that.
Yeah, pay attention to that. Pay attention to what you're spending, your expenditures, and also just calculate. Try to find out what do you need. What's the necessity and what's what's not needed. You know, you got to evaluate your pros and your cons.
Facts. I
And
agree.
some people don't do. Go ahead.
No, I said I agree.
Some people don't do that quite well, including myself. I'm guilty of that too. That's why when I found out about this and about secured credit cards and all this stuff, and it was my mother that told me about it. My grandmother told me about it. Like I was applying for every card in the world, but I uh, never could get one. Found out I don't have credit.
Yeah, you got to
So,
get that established for real.
yeah.
You have to.
So when I do supply for one, I know how to do it now. So it's like you got to be educated in these things so it can help you out in the long run.
Facts.
So you
Also,
get
too.
the
Oh, no, go ahead.
so you get the things that you want in life. If you wonder why you can't get it, it's because either you have an established credit in yourself, or you probably don't.
Yeah, exactly. Other things that people are probably asking, like, okay, wait, what exactly do I need to know whenever a lender is looking at my credit so that I can buy something that I want? It's like they're looking at your credit decision, they're looking at your income, they're looking at how much money you saved and for how long, they're looking at your current job that you have and what kind of credit you're requesting. That all determines how deep they're gonna dig, into your payment history and all that good stuff. So just
Mm-hmm.
keep that in mind. Also, you guys can go to Experian.com as well to check out some very important key information. And I found a chart that's really good with helping people to understand, like, oh, if I have a 552, am I doing good with my credit score? The answer is no. And the reason why it's no is because probably like 91% of consumers in the US have credit scores over 552. So I'm looking at a chart right now on Experian.com, and it says that 16% of all consumers have a FICO score in the very poor range. So that very poor range consists of 300 to 579. So if you're anywhere in between that range, you definitely want to get that credit score up. And ways you can do that is make sure that you're making your payments on time every month. Maybe even pay it a few days before the actual due date and be consistent with that.
Yeah.
Also, make sure that you go research yourself how often you should pay your debt down per month. Maybe it's not just once a month. I'm not going to give you all the answers right now. I want you to do your own research because the whole purpose of this show is to share opportunities, to let you know about financial resources that are out there so that you can increase your wealth, so you can increase whatever goal that you're chasing. You have the resources to increase the chances of you actually exceeding and smashing that goal. So make sure you go to Experian.com. Now, going back to this credit score of 552, I'm not really sure why this Experian chose to use that number as a point of reference, but I guess it's because that's the baseline. Most people have a credit score that is above that score of 552. I guess that's why they did it. But if you're the type of person that has like 4 or 5 different credit cards, then your main objective should be to consolidate those loans. Because remember, each card that you have is going to have a different interest rate to it. And a lot of people who have really bad credit have interest rates that are like 24, 25%. And it's ridiculous, like you're giving away your money and it'll take you forever to pay that money off because you're looking at principal versus interest and any other miscellaneous fees that they're tacking onto your bill every 30 days. Or 31 days. So you got to make sure that you're diligent in understanding the difference and also understanding what your interest rate is, because if you're not paying attention to that, what could have taken you 5 years will now take you double that time to pay off. Looking at 10 years of paying the same debt when you could have chopped that down when you got a bonus or when you went out and did your side hustle selling your face mask, whatever it is that you're doing, you could have used that money to pay off your debt. So sometimes we have to sacrifice to get what we really want in life.
That interest, like I said, the interest rate is a monster. It'll keep you paying over and over and over again because you're paying attention, but you're not paying attention to the interest rate.
And that's something that you definitely need to be paying attention to.
And you look at it, and you look at that you done, you might have it might be something that's less than $1 is now damn near $200.
Exactly. So we have to be smart. We have to be smart to better our situation. So now, if we get out of the poor range of credit, then you go into something called the fair range, which is 580 to 669. So if you're in that credit score range of 580 to 669, you're doing okay. It's fair. It's reasonable. You can get most things, but they're probably still going to tack on a really high interest rate. Now, if you think you're a little bougie and you get on into the finer things in life, then you go to an area called good credit, which is ranges 670 to 739. Now, if you extra elite, okay, and you're going on yachts, a very good credit is considered 740 to 799. That's where most people sit, typically. And that's 25%. That makes up 25% of all American consumers. Now, the exceptional gold floors, I'm going on a trip to Israel just because. I don't even know what's over there. But these people lie in the bracket of 800 to 850. This is exceptional. You're going to have little to no interest on whatever it is that you're consuming or buying. And you're just in a very powerful buying state when you have a credit score of 800 or greater. Those are the people I want on my team. 800 or greater, you can have whatever you like T.I. says. So I think that it was important to break that chart down for everybody to understand the importance of having good credit, and also to know ways of getting out of having bad credit. You have to know you have to utilize the resources that you have on the internet, utilize people that you know that are offering these type of services, because in the end of the day, it's worth it.
But also do your research on the services, because some people say they can do this and that, then they can't do this and that and take your money.
Facts.
Watch out for those.
I'm pretty sure it's more out than ever too.
Yeah, especially when it's around tax time, they really try to go ahead and up the ante. Like, we can do your taxes, also we can do your credit score.
And this year they extended the tax deadline to July 15th. So really, you guys have more than enough time to get it in. Also, people who are business owners that own for-profit or non-profit, it's so important you keep all your receipts. Keep every last receipt you have. Get you a special bag, a box, or compartment in your house, and keep all of your receipts. Anything that you buy, computers, when you spent gas to go out of town or do a talk, whatever, keep those receipts, because you can itemize those later. Trust me. Get your money. Let that money come back to you. So
what you can do, if you keep your receipts, what you can do is you can scan them and put it up. It used to have this thing. It's one of the receipts. It might be on a computer now, and you might not need the software. But I know a few years ago, you could put your receipts in a safe spot of your computer. And whatever receipts you save, you can report it and send it to whoever you do your thing with H&R Block or whoever.
You can do that. Yeah, that's an option too. Absolutely. Definitely, that's great advice.
Whatever you can use, you can utilize it. And like I said, use technology as your friend, and don't quit being old school, man. Use technology. I mean,
he's talking to me. I'm old school. I keep my physical receipts. He's right though. But he's right though. If you're planning on, like, maybe you won't even file within the next year, maybe it'll be the year after, then it would be wise to go ahead and take screen captures of everything. That way you can trash your physical receipts and keep it moving. As long as you have it saved on your cloud or your Google Drive or wherever you save it, just make sure it's saved. That's what I would say. Because you would hate to lose your information if you saved it on your computer, but you didn't save it on a special hard drive or cloud or something like that. Now you don't have access to it. So everything.
I know they used to scan receipts, and like I said, it was a little scanner that has to scan receipts and put it on your computer. You can save it. I don't know if they still had it no more. And then you gotta think about it, you got this, then you can put it on your phone. You can just scan and out. There's so much technology.
Yeah, send it to your email. Yeah, you got so many different ways to do it. But the point of the matter is, make sure you have your access to your receipt. So that way you get some of that money back, because it's a lot to get back if you do it right.
A lot. Then it's a lot to pay back too.
So in that way, you don't feel like you're just pouring into your business and nothing's coming back out. Only you can decide how much you get back.
Exactly.
So definitely just wanted to put that bit of information out there in the atmosphere so that people can be ready whenever we get back to normalcy. You can get out there on the good foot. All these people that took out these business loans that didn't need them, I hope you have a plan to pay them back, because you have to think about duration. You have to think about interest rates. And if your business is not going to be able to make back that amount of money plus put money in your pocket, that means profit, then you basically just kick yourself in your own behind. You have to make sure that before you start taking out loans, are they going to give you enough time to pay it back? Will you make enough money, enough revenue and profit in order to walk away with something in your pocket after paying back that loan? And if the answer is no, then, you know, within the next 2 or 3 years, then you may want to reevaluate how you move financially moving forward. So,
gotta think about what you're doing.
Yep.
Like
Always.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying always you do in business.
Oh. Go ahead. My bad. I'm sorry.
No, I'm done. I'm laughing because we can't see each other, so it's like I know why we're doing
it. And plus, just pay attention to the little things. Like I said, just pay attention to what you're doing, how you're spending your money. Well, I can't say the word. Frugal with your money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know. And that's how people maintain their millionaire status for such a long time. It's because they're not just going out here buying Lamborghinis. How I've been seeing in the news, a lot of people who took out these business loans as a relief effort, they were spending it on Lamborghinis. They were going on these trips and all this. And I'm like, with that much money that you took out, $1.6 million one guy took out, you could have generated a whole nother business that would have made 10 over the amount that you've taken out, but you just spend it on materialistic things that won't generate any income for you later. It was just weird to read that. Yeah. Like you could have created a $250,000 business and made that money back times 10. It's just $250,000 could have got you there 10 times over if you would have done it right.
You always want to create a business that's going to help you out with your business.
Exactly. That's good advice too. Yeah, people are weird. Anyway, let's hop on over to the next topic. It's just crazy, just wasting resources out here. People really need that money, and you're driving a $300,000 car instead. Anyway,
or buy a jewelry.
Yeah. So our next topic, we wanted to talk about some of the crazy sadness that's going on in Fort Hood lately. So we all knew about Vanessa Gullen, and it's such a very heartbreaking story to even discuss now. And I can only imagine for her family what they're going through and what they've encountered. But Miss Vanessa Gullen, her search had been ongoing, right, for months this year, right? And all of a sudden, her remains were found. She was dismembered. There was a few things that happened. I won't get too graphic, but the point is, unfortunately, she passed on. She did have recorded a moment of sexual harassment between her and one of the sergeants. And apparently, that very sergeant that she accused of sexual harassment, killed himself on July 1st after police tried to confront him and ask him questions about the disappearance of Vanessa. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, and even her family, she had reached out to her family, Vanessa did, and let them know that she was going to file that complaint against him. And that complaint, unfortunately, is probably why she went missing.
Yeah.
And so according to the news and according to the CBSN news article, Army Secretary McCarthy, he was just a little worried about this whole thing. He's supposed to be reporting any findings that he finds out. Right now, the investigation is still ongoing for Vanessa's death, but he just made a comment on this article and said that, hey, with things like this happening at this location, it's definitely going to rattle the system of trust. And also it's going to make people question, the professionalism, the loyalty, anything you can think of that's defining like trust about this area of training. This is a area where Army training happens, and she's not the only one that passed away at this very location.
Mm-hmm.
So another article that I pulled up today, there was they said 8 soldiers right now have been found dead in Fort Hood as of this year in 2020. And one of the guys that they found most recently was 24-year-old Gilberto Vargas. His first name is Francisco, last name is Vargas. And Mr. Vargas was found on Sunday. His body was recovered near the Steelhouse Hollow Lake, which is about 15 miles from Fort Hood. And so they don't really know right now because it's so fresh what happened, but they do know that he had gone on a boating trip on Saturday, so that day before, and he was reported missing that afternoon. So from Saturday afternoon to Sunday. So at least they found his body pretty quickly. So maybe this was an accident. But poor Miss Vanessa definitely was. It was definitely a murder, right? So
It was murder. Yeah, that's sad because there's many murders in Fort Hood. And to piggyback what you said, I think parents need to be aware that if their children are ever going to pursue a life in the military, that they beware of Fort Hood.
absolutely.
Like do your due diligence and have your kids to study the history of it, because this has been going on for quite a while. And
Right.
it's sad to say that you have so many soldiers missing, just trying to protect. Oh my
The
God,
unit.
I can't get it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, you protect the unit, right? Yeah, the base.
Yes.
But the
Oh
thing
my
is,
God.
there's innocent people that are dying every day, it seems like. So, and a
Hmm.
lot of the deaths they didn't even make the news. We're only talking about the people who made the news, right?
Exactly. And that
So,
said, it's like 23 people died at this base. So
yeah,
you could, and that's a lot, and that's probably not including uh all the people still probably missing.
exactly. Yeah, that's a very good point. So it's just really sad. It's unfortunate, and we just pray for the families of those people who have lost people near and dear to them at Fort Hood and any other bases around the U.S. because we're definitely a country that believes in freedom. We also believe in our young adults going in to get training to serve our country because that's what we stand for. So to see something like this happen is definitely it's something to be alerted by. This situation is real and it's affected many people. And God rest the souls of those soldiers who weren't even able, I guess, to fully perform in their positions because their lives were taken. So we just wanted to touch on this today. We wanted to put that information out there that even after Vanessa Gullen, there was another soldier, Mr. Vargas, that his body was found. So at the very same Fort Hood where she went missing, many others before him and her. So definitely keep our eyes open and ears available for new news to come. We hope that Mr. McCarthy, the Army Secretary, will continue to do his due diligence as well and continue to report his findings, and also that the investigators do their job and fully investigate this particular base because obviously it's problematic. There's a
Yeah,
problem
very
here
problematic.
and this problem needs to be addressed. And shout out to Donald Trump, our president, who brought in Vanessa Gillen's family to assure them that this investigation will not be swept under the rug, that he's going to make sure that they stay 10 toes down, pressed on this situation because it's something that needs to be handled. So definitely appreciate that coming from our president.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
And to have these are babies. Dang near they haven't reached the peak of their 20s,
Hmm.
and they're dying like it's not nothing like I said before. What are they? Are they? Did they find out something in the Fort Hood based on what nobody to know? Because some is they got some kind of hazing something going on or whatever. I mean, it just feels weird.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
we
I
and
mean,
we and it
who,
need to
who
be
will know? We probably won't know for another 30 years and we'll be too old to care by then.
true.
Well, you never know because it seems like a lot of things happen and the general public doesn't find out until decades later the actual truth. Same thing that's going on with COVID right now. There's a lot of theories, conspiracy theories surfacing and happening and being told, but we won't know the actual truth until we're like 70 plus. You know, we won't know that.
I
You
hope
know,
it'll be that
when
old.
people are so old that it doesn't matter to tell the truth anymore, I think that's when the truth.
Yeah.
Because when you think about certain situations like Hitler, and you think about certain people who, I even was looking at documentaries about older white women who, or sorry, older black women, I apologize, who were posing as white women because they could pass as white. You know, they're coming out 40, 50 years later telling the truth, you know, and then you think about this COVID in relation to the scientists who are involved with the research for the vaccine and things like that. These people may not come out and tell the truth until far after they've retired, and they can't be directly financially affected by their truth. And then you think about the young white lady, or the older white lady, who came out and told the truth about Emmett Till. This young boy at 14 lost his life because it was claimed that he whistled at a white young lady, and she told the truth in her 80s. Exactly. So that's 70 plus years after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, that's just to show an example of there's a lot of situations that have happened where the truth didn't come out until over 50 years later.
Yeah.
And that's just the time that we're living in now, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
But anyways.
It's sad. It's sad but true. And to piggyback on what you just said, they found the remains of Gregory Morales Friday.
Mm-hmm. Another soldier.
Huh?
Another soldier?
Yes.
Yeah, it's sad. It's very sad. But you guys keep doing your research. We all need to stay on top of this Fort Hood business. It's right here in Texas. It's weird. It's sad. And it's definitely disheartening, but we
hopefully, I said hopefully it gets shut down.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to get shut down so bad.
Yep. And we can end that segment right there before we go on to the bigger issue of this $1 billion vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
All right, we're back.
We're back.
All right, so our last little portion that we wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm. It was the vaccine.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about like COVID. We know is the real deal. We've seen so many people lose their lives. Unfortunately, there's so many different celebrities, politicians, people that are in our families. Like it's
killing a lot of people.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And please take this COVID-19 seriously, because it's not a joke. It's definitely not a joke. I had the symptoms in January and February. I was out for like 2 months. I couldn't breathe. I was experiencing a high fever, couldn't taste anything, and et cetera, et cetera. So between mid-March, that's when I got better. But yeah, it's a serious thing, and luckily I caught mine early, so and my immune system is pretty good. So thank God for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I'm glad you're okay. This is not anything to play with. And with that being said, because people know that, China is now offering a $1 billion loan to Latin America and the Caribbean for access to the vaccine to this very virus. So this report came out July 23rd. So a few weeks back, maybe about 2 weeks ago. The Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi announced a $1 billion loan to Latin America and the Caribbean for this vaccine, and accessing during a virtual gathering. So they did like a virtual meeting, and all this information was released by the Mexican Foreign Affairs Ministry. Now, during a daily briefing on Thursday, so this is back in July, Mexican President Andres Lopez Obrador thanked China after the loan announcement. So seems like they're pretty excited to know that a vaccine is in reach, you know, but we're talking about $1 billion split across the Caribbean and Latin America. So as long as they know they can pay that kind of money back, which I know they can, then I guess we're good to go. For people who didn't know though, Latin America became the epicenter of the global pandemic in late May. So they had like outrageous numbers and cases of the coronavirus. Now, when they say the Caribbean, I have to, maybe I'm being a little biased because I remember that Jamaica only had a few coronavirus cases, mainly because they shut down their international flights. They didn't let anybody in or out for a while. So I think they just started back allowing people to fly in. And even when they were doing that, they had COVID testing right, like as soon as you get off the plane. Brazil has the second highest number of cases globally. And this report was made July 23rd. And Brazil comes in second after the US with more than 2.2 million people infected. So that's a lot of people. Peru, Chile, and Mexico are also in the top 10 countries with confirmed COVID-19 cases, while the virus is also spreading in Venezuela, where concerns have been raised over the country's crippled healthcare system. So they're saying that, in places like Venezuela, they feel like the reason why COVID-19 is on a high rise is just because they don't have really good medical systems in place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So governmental responses to the virus have differed radically across Latin America, but the region workforce and it says regions' informal workforce and high levels of inequality are among the factors driving the widening outbreak. So you know what that means. Basically, people of darker skin are not being treated as high risk or priority over the lighter skin Latinas and Latinos, unfortunately. So the virus has deepened the rift between the U.S. and China, and it has, because we've even heard the president talk about this, right? He's made jokes like calling it the Kung Flu virus, Kung Flu, things like that. So it's been a mess, but I'm hoping that in the long run that it can bring us closer together. I feel like, hey, China for the win. If they're able to sell $1 billion of vaccines to these countries in these areas, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. And you know what? To touch on that, it's like I hope this works, but I feel like it's something else, man. It just doesn't click with me with this vaccine, And like I said, I know everybody's body different, and I seen people take like 10 prescription pills, and for this one vaccine that can cure everything. I'm like, I feel like just my opinion, I feel like they should have did this a long time ago to nip this in the butt. And just my opinion, I feel like it's a lot of stuff going. I'm kind of like a conspiracy theorist almost. And so it just logically is like, if you know it was coming, why wasn't we prepared for this?
Agreed.
And that's go ahead.
Oh, I'm agreeing with you.
And that's when my mind started clicking. I'm like, okay, something ain't right with this. Why it take so long for us not to figure this thing out? If we supposed to be the mega powers of the world with all these engineering, technology, and everything else, why do you want us to prepare for this?
Yeah. I think that a lot of poor decisions were made in the beginning. I think that the initial outbreak was taken very lightly. And I don't think that people realized that it would have gotten to this point. But I do believe that a lot of people at the top knew, and, for whatever reasons, they let it just be. And that's my opinion on it. I mean, I could be absolutely wrong. But I mean, we see that places like Italy took a brutal beating. They had up to 900 people die at a time in one day. So it was a lot. It has been a lot. This year has been a lot. But again, like we opened up, let this be a year that you learn, that you do your own research, that you stay committed to protecting yourself, and whether or not you believe in wearing the face mask, protect someone else, because you could be an asymptomatic carrier of COVID and not know it and infect an entire family. People are starting to go back to the parks. They're starting to go out. The kids are going back out to play. people are getting ready, students are getting ready to go back to school, teachers are getting ready to go back to teach. So, I always recommend, again, I'm not a doctor or a healthcare professional, but I recommend doing the face shields. I think that's the easiest and best way for students to get through the school day without suffocating in a face mask, And so
Yes.
it's just my opinion, and a lot of people are selling them for only $10, so grab them now while they're just $10,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
grab it whether it's just $10 and be cautious about. Matter of fact, be cautious about everywhere you go, not just in the house, but when you go outside. If the person not wearing a face mask, really is 6 feet away. Don't sit up there and stand by a person. Plus, when you have these social gatherings and everything, don't be up on people and stuff, and it's out there. And plus, like it's like we on our podcast at Urchin Streets, we had a lab tech to talk to us about what's going on from the doctor standpoint, and that it goes through events in your house.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no escaping. As soon as you turn on the air, it's there. It's coming from a lab tech talking to the doctors. So please take this seriously, because I lost a few people in the music industry that I want to collab with in Dallas that I will never see again.
Wow.
So it's real, ladies and gentlemen. Don't think it's fake. It's real. And one of my best friends, his mother had it. She's well now, but it hit her.
Wow.
And if it hit her, it can hit anybody.
Very true.
Be aware. It's not a joke.
It's definitely not a game, folks. So we're going to wrap up our show today. We hope that you guys gained a lot of information. We hope you learned something here. Again, remember to research, protect yourself. Self-love is the best love. Shout out to Dillinger for being my co-host today on Sisters Talk Podcast. Make sure you check him out on Ear to the Streets. Give him your shout-outs before we go.
Oh, yes. Shout out to Big Game James. Shout out to DJ C4. Shout out to everybody at Ear to the Streets Radio. To contact me is Dick Dillinger on Facebook. They're trying to clear my throat. And Rob Rockstar on IG and on Twitter. You can talk to me. If you got any music, send them at Ear to the Streets at yahoo.com. You're going to be on the show. Just hit me up on the messenger. I'm mostly on Facebook and Twitter. So that's where you hit me up at.
Alrighty. All right, guys. So you guys have a blessed day, and we will talk to you again on Sunday next week from 3 to 4 p.m. I'll have a special guest on my show. Her name is Aisha. She's written a book, and I'm going to give you the name of that book as soon as I can scroll down to see the name. All right. So she's also, by the way, she's a life coach, mentor, trauma educator, motivational speaker, and consultant. She is doing it all. And her name is Asia, Carol. I messed up the lady's name. Asia Carol. So the name of her book is called Survivor, Not by Chance. And I was able to take a listen to one of her podcast episodes, and the lady is amazing. She's telling her raw, honest truth about growing up, being a Black woman, growing up in a very not so perfect family setup, and a lot of us can definitely relate. So if you guys are interested in that topic, then definitely tune into our show next week from 3 to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right. Any last words, Richard?
Hey, y'all be safe out here, and check out Ear to the Streets and check out Sister Talk, and also check out Tipsy Tea too on YouTube.
Absolutely. Yeah, so for people who don't know, Tipsy Tea is our new addition under our umbrella, and we talk about it all. Celebrity gossip, lots of laughs, lots of tea being spilled, a lot of drinks.
Yeah, a lot of drinks.
Yeah. All right, guys. So thank you so much for tuning into the Sisters Talk Podcast. We'll see you next week.